What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 14 of the Diego College Football Show. And wow, what a weekend. What an absolute weekend for Seattle sports fans, especially. Seahawks win today. We'll talk about that in a second. The Huskies win on Friday. We'll talk about that later. I think I might talk about the Mariners a little bit at the end of this episode for anyone that's interested in that. But wow, what a weekend all around. We had a great Saturday of football, too. A good Sunday, good witching hour, a decent Sunday night game. It was a great overall weekend of football. And let's start in Seattle or in Jacksonville, quite frankly. Seahawks beat the Jaguars 20-12. A big win for the Seahawks. I got to say, I was wrong. I was not feeling very confident about this game on Thursday's episode, and I will happily be wrong about this game. I was worried about the secondary. The secondary was the exact same group of people that was played in the Bucs game. We saw a little bit more of Shaquille Griffin, but overall, it was the same secondary that got carved up by the Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. And I said this during the game, but one of the main things that really just jumped off the screen to me was just the stark difference between Baker Mayfield and Trevor Lawrence as the quarterback facing your team. And there was different things that the Seahawks defense did, but it just showed. I mean, he made some good throws. He didn't necessarily play a bad game, but that kind of just proves the standard of football that Baker Mayfield's playing so far this year. But I mean, on the Seahawks side, this is just exactly what you wanted to see. If the Seahawks win a shootout in this game, it's like you're happy they won, obviously, but your concerns are still very much there about the defense. The Seahawks offense wasn't great in this game. Sam Darnold didn't play his most outstanding game. They didn't run the ball very well, but the defense picked them up time and time again. They didn't play well situationally. They weren't very good on third downs, but the defense showed up and picked them up with Ty Okada, Shaquille Griffin, Josh Jobe, who didn't play a very great game today. With those guys in the secondary, they showed up. And I got to give a big shout out to Mike McDonald. I thought he schemed a hell of a game today. And I got to give a shout out to this D-line. They all get the game ball for this game. If I was giving out a game ball, everyone that rushed the passer today gets one. 7 sacks. I don't know the last time I watched a Seahawks game with 7 sacks. Who knows how many pressures they're going to have. I believe they had like 17 quarterback hits. I believe I saw that stat after the game. 17 quarterback hits. Teams don't have 17 pressures in a game. Like, that is absolutely wild. They shut down the Jaguars' run game. This is a Jaguars team that has relied on that run game all year. That's kind of been what's behind their winnings and the games that they win. Travis Etienne was 12 carries for 27 yards. Tootin was 2 for 14. They didn't allow Trevor Lawrence to get involved with his feet. In that Chiefs game, a big reason why they won that game and they were able to move the ball in that game was Trevor Lawrence using the legs, and they didn't let that happen. 3 rushes for 9 yards. The defensive line proved that they don't have an elite edge rusher right now, I wouldn't say. But if you get pressure, it does not matter who's playing DB. It doesn't matter who's guarding these guys. If the quarterback doesn't have time to throw, it doesn't matter at all. They could be wide open. And that's exactly what they did today. Trevor Lawrence was uncomfortable. You could tell he was kind of on edge. The defensive line absolutely dominated. Byron Murphy is starting to become a star. He was an absolute game wrecker today. Leonard Williams was a stud today. Uchenna Nwosu, I thought, was an absolute stud today. What he has shown, coming off the injury, last year had a little bit of a down year. Couldn't really stay healthy. This year, hurt all of training camp. Coming off the injury, he has a sack and a half today. I should give a huge shout out to DeMarcus Lawrence, because maybe that was the guy last week that we were really missing out on. He was an absolute game wrecker today. That was prime DeMarcus Lawrence. 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. That is ridiculous numbers right there. That is ridiculous numbers. Leonard Williams, half a sack, 4 tackles. Uchenna Nwosu, 1.5 sacks. Byron Murphy, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss. The D-line won them this game. Quite frankly, I can't say enough about it. And I'll just keep talking about the defense. Then we'll get into the offense. I thought Kobe Bryant played a great game. He's a guy that's had opportunities for a lot of negative plays and missed the tackles. Here's a tweet from Hawk Blogger. Kobe Bryant entered this week with the highest missed tackle rate on the Seahawks, and he did not miss a tackle in the game and had 2 TFLs. That was absolutely massive. There was multiple times early in drives, early on first and second downs, where they'd seem to have a huge negative play that would just set the Jaguars back and kind of just kill their drive. They had seven TFLs and 7 sacks. That doesn't happen. This is a historic pressure day. I cannot wait to see the pressure numbers. I don't have them up quite yet. It was dominant. It was absolutely dominant. I mean, you do have to point out some guys in the second. I didn't think Josh Jobe had a great day. He has that crazy, kicked up ball to Brian Thomas Jr. that ends up in a touchdown. It gets called back because of the flag. But then later in that drive, he kind of gets sunned for the touchdown. But I mean, they gave up 12 points to a team this was a 4-1 football team coming off a Monday Night Football win against the Chiefs, who just beat the Lions. This was a quality win on the road. Mike McDonald's won 9 straight road games, I believe. He's 9-1. This is stuff that doesn't happen. This team just finds a way to. They just need to start translating this to be at home. I thought Ernest Jones played a good game after a not so great game last week, 8 tackles. Drake Thomas had 9 tackles. He was constantly in the backfield. Just watching the game, he was always in the. He was flying around back there. Nicky Minwari played his most snaps. I believe he played upwards of 60 snaps. He was all over the place. I mean, that guy, if you throw a ball behind the line of scrimmage, that guy is going to be there. He had a rough play early in the game on that Brian Thomas Jr. touchdown. It looked like he probably should have went with him when he went to block, but he bounced back. McDonald trusted him. And, I mean, I can't wait to see what this defense looks like when it has their 2 real starting corners out there and starting safety. What they're going to do with Nicky Minwari then. This was a coaching masterclass by Matt McDonald. I thought he took Liam Cohn to school. They had absolutely nothing. Couldn't run the football, 19 carries for 59 yards. Brian Thomas did have a good day, but I feel like a majority of that was early. And besides him, no one else had up more than 30 receiving yards. Trevor Lawrence, I thought he played solid. I mean, he got sacked 7 times. It's tough when you're getting pressured that much, but he didn't make any big mistakes, which I was kind of hoping we could force one of them off of him. And I mean, that's all I got for the defense, to be honest. Tyler Caudill had a few plays or a few missed tackles, but overall, I mean, he didn't give up the big play that happened in the Buccaneer game. And the Seahawks defense overall really didn't. There was no really deep shots. I mean, I don't think you necessarily call that Brian Thomas Jr. touchdown a deep shot. It was kind of just up the left side. The Tim Patrick touchdown, that's on Joe. But overall, there was no the Emeka, just the total coverage breaks. It was an early 3rd and 16 that really annoyed me. They were playing cover 2 to the weak side of the field, and they just let him throw the whole shot to him for easy 16 yards. That was frustrating, but that was early in the game. And I mean, they rebounded. And just finishing up on the defense, this offense had every chance to put this game away. It was 20-6 in the third quarter after you scored to go up with that beautiful first drive of the second half. And the Jags punted. You had a chance to go up 3 scores. You didn't. You punted. Okay, whatever. Then the Jags go on a 14-play touchdown drive. That's what ends in the Tim Patrick touchdown. And, okay, you're only up 8 because they go for 2 and they don't get it. And the offense goes 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out punt, practically 3-and-out punt. And the defense stood up every time, forced a 3-and-out. Then your offense punts. 6-play, 20-yard drive, ends in a punt. The defense stood up all day. And you force a punt with 3 minutes to go, and the offense never gives them the ball back. I thought it was just a master. It was exactly what you wanted to see from the win. I mean, a shootout would have been obviously maybe more fun to watch on the offensive side, but after last week's game, you wanted to see the defense show up. Still missing guys. You got an extra day off. The game on Monday night against the Texans. Get your DBs back. And this is a defense that no one wants to face. At full health, this is a defense that no one wants to face. And Mike McDonald showed you that even when they're down some guys, you do not want to play these guys. On the offensive side, not the greatest day. Not the greatest day from Clint Kubiak, not Sam Darnold's sharpest day. I mean, he played fine. I played 16 of 27, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns. Few plays that could have been in turnovers, few almost disastrous plays towards the end of the game, but the run game is something I'm just a little confused on, quite frankly. Kenneth Walker was 10 carries for 34 yards. Zach Charbonnet was 12 carries for 24 yards. I don't really understand all the Zach Charbonnet carries, if we're being totally honest. There's not, when you get down the goal line, okay, I somewhat get it. The more reliable guy, the more power back, he's not going to lose you yards there. But in the open field and at the beginning of drives, it feels like there's just so many of those runs that ended in negative plays. And there was no burst. And maybe it'll be all in the blocking, but at some point, like Kenneth Walker had some success early in that second half, I believe it was, and they would just go back to Charbonnet. I don't think there's any reason in this game to have Zach Charbonnet out carry Kenneth Walker. There was nothing he did on the field that warranted him to get 2 more carries than him. And I'm perfectly fine splitting the backfield, whatever, but I feel like they should be like riding the hot hand. There was no super hot hand, but Kenneth Walker's runs were, I think, by far more explosive and productive than Zach Charbonnet's runs today. So yeah, a little confused about that. JSN, I mean, what more can you say about Jackson Smith-Njigba? 8 receptions, 162 yards, 1 touchdown, 13 targets. I mean, he's the leading receiver in the NFL right now. He's on pace for like 1,900 yards, which is absolutely insane. He's genuinely like a top 5 receiver in the league, and I don't think there's any debate. A lot of the discourse from the offseason was, this guy's a slot receiver. These guys don't have an outside receiver. They don't have a deep play threat. I mean, he's just put all that to rest. They don't need Torrey Horton to be a deep play threat right off being a rookie, being a 4th round pick, because Jackson Smith-Njigba is living up to being that 1st round pick that he was. And it's absolutely outstanding. I mean, I was high on him. I think a lot of people were, but no one expected this. You can't scheme this guy. You can't scheme for this guy every week. I mean, you guys, they sub in their cornerback that they just trade for this week, and he takes him over the top for 61 yards blur. He's unstoppable. I mean, and Sam Darnold hitting him over the top. I kind of love it. Just having a guy that, like, 3rd down, I want him to go to JSN. Even when it's not completed, it's like Sam was looking at JSN there, which I love. It makes me feel so much confident. It's like, this is a clear passing down. We have a guy that we're going to go to and has a way to get open. And it's not just like a 50-50 ball. Those routes I thought he had on those deep out routes were absolutely, like, no one's guarding that. The little fake inside, outside, Sam hits him perfectly in stride both times around toe tap on the sideline. Like, that's unguardable in man coverage. That is absolutely unguardable. No, you can't scheme for that. He's such a good route runner. He's so smooth. He has the over-the-top speed, which no one really expected. Cooper Kupp, only 2 catches, but both coming on that one drive. I thought that one throw, that his first catch of the game when Sam Darnold hits him over the middle, was an absolute dime. Sam Darnold is so good in that middle intermediate area, and it's such a breath of fresh air from past Seahawks quarterbacks that feel like that part of the field was so neglected or not targeted well enough. Cooper Kupp has that beautiful catch in the middle, and then later on that drive, Sam throws a beautiful corner route for Cooper Kupp's first Seahawks touchdown. That was great. First drive of the second half. And that was the best drive of the game. I mean, they kind of sputtered at the beginning. It was kind of just kind of sluggish. 2, 3 and out to start the game. Couldn't really get the run game going. No really big pass plays. And they answered the bell. They go down 6, and then they go down with a nice long field goal drive, which I do have to say, this sequence annoyed me. You get down in the red zone for the first time, and you're inside the 10, 1st and goal, and you handed the ball off to Zach Charbonnet 3 times, which your first run goes for 6 yards, so it's 2nd and goal from the 4, and then you get stuffed, and it's kind of a miracle he makes it back to the line of scrimmage, and you decide just to hand it off to him again, and he loses 2 yards. Like a very similar play, I believe. I didn't really love that early in the game from Clint Kubiak. I mean, I get if you want, you got it. It had an effective run on 1st down, and if you think you can get 2 and you have 2 downs to get it, fine. But when you get stuffed on 2nd down, I don't know if you go back to the same guy. I mean, I think in that situation, I like getting Sam on the move to the outside. Or, I mean, Sam's hot at that point. Like, I believe to that point, he'd only completed the ball to JSN. And JSN had, like, every reception. It was like 5 receptions for 117 yards after that next touchdown. The first play of the next drive, which we'll talk about. But that was frustrating early in the game. But then defense forces a 3 and out, and the first play of the next drive was just an insane throw. I mean, the way JSN tracks that ball in the air is just beautiful. Like, DK Metcalf isn't doing that. Sam leaves it out there to his guy. Jason runs right past his dude, breakaway speed, tracks it 61-yard touchdown. Like that was one of the plays of the day in the entire league. And you get a field goal before half. That was great to get after the Jags missed a field goal. That's taking advantage of your opponent's mistakes. And the first drive of the second half was it was poetic. They finally got the run game going. Kenneth Walker was getting successful runs, and that's when that Cooper Kupp catch happened. That's when the JSN catch over the middle happened, the 13-yarder, followed by the Kupp one, and then that's when he finds Kupp for the touchdown. And you're up 2 scores, and this game was kind of always in the Seahawks' control, quite honestly. After the field goal for half and you're up 7, I wasn't really threatened by the Jaguars' offense. And when you're up 14, kind of that whole second half, I feel like was kind of a stress. It should have been a fully stress-free second half, but they made you sweat a little bit when they make it an 8-point game. And I was definitely sweating a little bit when Sam's kind of arm gets hit and the ball's in the air, and it felt like it could have been picked, and Jaguars could have been right there with a chance to tie the game. But overall, I mean, a little sloppy on the offensive end, but a win's a win. A win on the road is a win. And the Seahawks are sitting at 4-2, tied with the Niners and the Rams at the top of the division. Because the Texans on Monday Night Football next. That's going to be a gritty battle. I mean, that's two really good defenses, I think, and the defense is going to have to show up again. I think you got an offensive line you can exploit. We'll talk about that game obviously more in depth later, but it's a big game. And I think it's also more a big game because it's at home. The Seahawks have been longing to win a huge game at home. And that's what that would be, a primetime game with the crowd behind you. They need that. Like on the national stage too, like that is what they need more than anything. They've been winning these huge games on the road. Can they have a big momentum, like culture shifting, Mike McDonald, big home win, please? Like it's all I want at this point. And they have a huge chance to do it. The team has momentum. Hopefully you think that your DBs are going to be back at that point, but I mean, you never know, but they got a big opportunity at their hands. So huge win. You got to love what you see. You got to love what you see. I just can't wait to see this team put it all together in one game. I mean, they're bound to. It just feels like each game, it's like one part of the team has to kind of pick up the other part, and they've been doing it so far. But this is a pretty darn good football team. That's what I got to say there. All right, we'll go to London now. What an ugly. We're going from a fun football game to watch great defense. Now, this was not, I don't even know if this was great defense. This was just horrible on both sides of the ball. One of the more jarring stats that I think I've ever seen is Justin Fields' final stat line today: 9 for 17 for a net of -10 passing yards. He had 45 yards passing, and he was sacked 9 times for 55 yards. Like, this is the Jets might have to fire Aaron Glenn because honestly, like, I don't know how you can go along with just playing horrible football like this. This is like he was one of those guys. I like the culture. I like what he was trying to bring in, like a fiery guy, but his team isn't playing for him. And Garrett Wilson, his comments after the game, it's just not, it's not like a healthy situation that you're building. This isn't like oh, these guys, there's something there. Like these guys are starting to buy in. I just don't see it yet, quite honestly, at all. This is an incompetent offense that they're putting out on the field. Like absolutely like embarrassing. You cannot, as an NFL football team, have -10 passing yards in a game with clean weather, I will say. Breece Hall was 22 carries, 59 yards. Justin Fields is 731. And it's been bad before, and they somehow put some stats together at the end of the game. But this is just horrible. And at the end of the game, when I was like watching attentively, they get the ball back and they actually have a chance to win the game. Because we'll get to the Broncos. The Broncos played an atrocious game on offense. They don't clinch the game with the first down. You get the ball on your own 40. So realistically, you need to go 20 yards to win the game. And they can't do that. They end up getting the ball to the 50-yard line. Fields gets sacks and lose 5 yards, completes it to Garrett Wilson for 7 yards. And then, I mean, this next play was kind of the story of the game. And I mean, if you didn't watch this game, I don't blame you, but it's 3rd and 8, and you're on the Denver 44 after a Fields 7-yard pass to Wilson. And realistically, like 5 yards gets you in the field goal range and gets you in it. And Fields has Garrett Wilson wide open on an out route, and he just misses. He's late on it, and he misses it to the inside. And Wilson gets his hands on it, but Hufanga breaks it up. It was a great play that Patel no Hufanga. And he breaks it up, and it's like, you got a 62-yarder with Nick Folk, or you're going to go for it. And they decide to go for it. I think you got to use your kicker at that point. I mean, your offense is horrible. Do you really have more confidence in your offense getting 7 yards when they like have negative yards passing than your kicker making a really long field goal? I mean, I wonder what his long is. He made he made a 38-yarder during the game. He made a 41-yarder during the game, and he made a 52-yarder. So, I mean, I don't really know Nick Folk's career long, if that was really out of his range, but I mean, I would like the chances for a field goal better. I mean, kickers are booming kicks these days in the league. 60 is a new 50. Just embarrassing. Like, I don't know if the Jets are ever going to win a game. They got the Panthers, Bengals, Browns next 3 games, so I guess there's some chances there. But with the offense you're trotting out here, I don't. The Panthers have some momentum right now. The Bengals didn't look horrible today. The Browns have a really good defense. Like, I don't know if any of these. I think this is just embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. It's enough to say about the Jets. I'm just it's a hard team to talk about. On the Broncos side, I mean, thank God you won this game. This would have been an absolutely tragic loss. Coming off of like the biggest win of like your season, a huge win for you guys. Trying to build some momentum and you barely squeak by against the Jets. Pretty embarrassing, but a win's a win. I mean, a win's a win. It's a game across the seas, whatever. Bo Nix wasn't very good, 19 of 30 for 174 yards. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a win in the NFL. I just don't – you can't play like this against a real football team and expect to win. You got the Giants next week. So if the Giants come into your house playing like they have been, you're going to have to show up and give you their A game because they're gonna play some hard-nosed football. I don't know how much I don't really have much else to say about this game, to be honest. It was just – and from what I watched, which was mostly the second half, it was just painful, absolutely painful. That Jets quarterback stat line is a real stat line. Sacked 9 times. And I think most of them are on fields. He just doesn't let the ball rip, dude. You have a really good young receiver, and you just can't give him chances. That's what I think is the worst part about it. Is you're just making him annoyed, making your young guy want to get out of your team. It's bad. Oh, I actually will. Let's talk about the Thursday night game because kind of just crossed my mind and I skip to Sunday. The New York Giants, the New York Football Giants just dominate the Philadelphia Eagles. And watching this game, it was like the New York Giants were the better team in this game, by far. By far. If you watch this game, you think the Giants are maybe the guys coming off the Super Bowl. It was dominance. Jackson Dart played, I would say, borderline elite. Graded out as an 89 on PFF. Cam Scatterbo grades out at a 70. Jackson Dart was 17 to 25, 195 yards, 1 touchdown. Scatterbo was 19 for 98, 3 rushing touchdowns. Jackson Dart was 13 for 58, 1 rushing touchdown. Wan'Dale Robinson, 6 for 84. The New York Giants, I don't want to say they're good, but they might be. They might be a sneaky team. You're going to Denver next week. Denver is very beatable. At the Eagles, who knows there, versus the Niners, banged up. They're fun. I mean, I don't think they're necessarily good yet, but they're a fun football team. I got to say, watching them is exciting. It was kind of funny watching Russell Wilson go into the game and throws a ball 10 yards short of his guy, and the team boos him. Kind of sad there. The fans boo him. Dable sprinting to get the guy out of the tent, asking the doctor, yelling at the doctor. It was a weird situation, but the Giants are fun. And I don't see any reason why this can't continue. I mean, it really sucks that Neighbors isn't there playing because that would make them even more exciting if Dart had a true number 1 receiver he could go to in these situations. But I mean, this is the team that's going to be in football games. I mean, Dart's only getting better. He's only going to learn from this. He's not making any mistakes in this. He didn't really make any stupid plays that was you can't be doing that, Rook. He played pretty well. And on the Eagles side, this is disastrous. Kevin Patullo, it's looking like kind of a Brian Johnson situation, if you're familiar with that from a few years ago, when they hire a guy in-house after the coordinator gets hired away. When the Colts guy Steichen gets hired away, they hire Brian Johnson in-house, promote him, and it's a disaster, and the team looks bad. And then they have Kellen Moore last year. They don't really do a search after Kellen Moore goes to the Saints, promote Patullo, and they just don't have an ability to get a downfield passing game, and they couldn't run the ball in this game really either. Everything was just disastrous. Jalen Hurts was a really bad interception. He misses Devontae Smith. He grades out at a 58, 5th worst on the team. Jordan Mailata grades out at a 57. He's missing Devontae Smith by 10 yards when Devontae Smith has no one within 20 yards of him from their own 10. It is a walk-in touchdown. No matter where you throw it, even if he has to fully stop for the ball, he's probably going to outrun the guy to the end zone. That's just unacceptable for an NFL quarterback. And he's really just feeding into these narratives that he just kind of rode along for the Super Bowl. You got a ring, whatever. But Eagles fans think this guy's a true top 10 guy in the league, and I just don't see it right now. And there's nothing to really see at all. I don't know how you can see that, if I'm being quite honest. He's missing guys on the throw where he goes to pick 6. He's hot. He knows that. He's A.J. Brown on an over route over the middle of the field. There's no one there. And he decides to be late on an out route. It's just things from an NFL quarterback that shouldn't be happening from a guy that some fan bases say is top tier or some would say elite. He is not elite. Quite frankly, he's not. Saquon Barkley was getting stuffed, to be honest. 12 carries for 58 yards. Just an ugly game for the Eagles. And where do they go from there? It's 2 losses in a row. Going to Minnesota. I believe Minnesota's coming off a bye. Yeah, they are. So, yeah, I mean, it's really bad loss. And they need to fix stuff on offense because this is not the team that we saw last year. Nowhere near the team. This is not the Super Bowl identity team. This is a team that's looking like a first-round exit, even if they make the playoffs with the way that they're playing football right now. We'll go to the rest of the early morning slate now. Let's go Cardinals-Colts. The Colts have a little bit of a sweat. This was a game where the Cardinals came out hot. I will say, no Kyler Murray. I did not know that when recording Thursday's episode. I thought he was going to be fine in play. And Jacoby Brissett came out and balled, man. Shout out to Jacoby Brissett. Gunslinger. When a backup quarterback comes in for my team, I want him to play like this. 27 carries, 44 attempts, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He got the ball to his guys. Trey McBride, 8 receptions, 72 yards, 1 touchdown. Marvin Harrison, I guess, a little bit frustrating there. 2 receptions, 32 yards. Zay Jones had a big day, though, 5 for 80. Bam Knight in a running back. Can't say I knew who Bam Knight was going into today. Michael Carter, 9 for 34. But they were frisky in this game. And they came out and they shocked the Colts a little bit in the Colts' house. Daniel Jones throws a pick. He's still decently efficient, 22 of 30, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns. But they ran the ball well, 21 from 123. But the Cardinals just kind of answered the bell time and time again. They were throwing punch for punch, and you got to give them major props for that because a team with a backup quarterback going into a road game after the debacle of a loss last week, they lose this game, but they showed some fight. I think for their coach Jonathan Gannon, they're playing for him. No Kyler, so a little bit of juice from Brissett, but I was surprised for this to be a close game, quite frankly. But shout out to the Colts. This is what good teams do. The Colts are a good football team. I've seen enough from Daniel Jones and them to say I can confidently say like this is a good team, and this team is good. I don't know if they're going to make any noise come playoff time, but they're going to be around, and they're sitting at 5-1, tied for the best record in the league. Chargers, Titans next 2 weeks. It's a quality football team, and they're putting up points. Shane Steichen's orchestrating a really good offense. They're running the ball really well. 21 for 120 for Jonathan Taylor. Tyler Warren has just been an absolute revelation at tight end for them. 6 for 63, 1 touchdown. Like they are finding so many fun ways to get him the ball, which I think is great. Kind of similar to how he was used at Penn State. They're giving him the ball in the Wildcat. They're handing him the ball sometimes. Like he is a huge part of, arguably the biggest part of their game plan besides Jonathan Taylor every week. And it's a big, tough thing to guard on the defensive side. They're a well-run football team. And shout out to Shane Steichen. I got to laugh a little bit about Anthony Richardson. Whatever that is, fractures his orbital bone in his eye going through warm-ups with an elastic band. I don't know how that happens, but there's got to be a video of that somewhere. Just a really weird situation to hear before the game starts. But Daniel Jones, cooking, playing well. It's a great win. It's a great win for Indianapolis. That's what I got there. Chargers beat the Dolphins 29-27. My Chargers curse has ended. Before this, I'd picked the wrong side of every single Chargers game. I picked them to win, and it was looking rough for a while. I got to say that. The Dolphins go down to take the lead with 40 seconds left, but Justin Herbert, you got to love that what you saw from Justin Herbert today. The team was down. Morale was probably a little bit down. They were up 13 points, and the Dolphins stormed back in the fourth quarter to take the lead by 1. And in the biggest moment, he's got someone about to sack him, and he shrugs him off and hits Ladd up the left side. And Ladd runs for 42 yards up the left sideline, makes a few guys miss, goes out of bounds, and that pretty much seals the game, gets him to the 22-yard line. But this is a really important game for the Chargers offense because they're decimated. They've lost guys like Marlon Hampton out, and Kamani Vidal steps up to the running back challenge. 18 carries for 124 yards. Impressive day from him. Ladd McConkey steps up when they need him to. Someone had to step up. Quentin Johnson was ruled out yesterday. He was questionable. Ruled out before the game. Ladd has underwhelmed, I'd say, honestly, overall throughout this whole year. Steps up to the plate. 7 receptions, 100 yards, 1 touchdown. Makes the big play when they need him most. Good for them. Good for Justin Herbert. 29-38, 264, 2 touchdowns. Really big day. Only sacked once. I don't know the pressure numbers there, but only sacked once. That's good to keep him on his feet if you're the Chargers. And on the Dolphins side, just disaster. Two after the game talking about how people are late to players-only meetings. People aren't showing up to players-only meetings. And then Mike McDaniel's like, I don't know anything about that. Like, everyone shows up to what they need to show up to. I don't really think those are necessary. Just like, I don't think you need to say that, dude. Like, for on either side, I think McDaniel can, kind of back up his quarterback there. And I don't really think his quarterback needs to be saying that. Just kind of have a dumpster fire. I'm wondering when the time's going to be up there. Because it feels like it's ticking. If they lose to the Browns next week, that might be it for Mike McDaniel. I don't know what the long leash is for. Like, what has he shown in the time he's been there that proves that he should be the future of the team? It doesn't really. I don't really quite get that. Ugly loss though. Jalen Waddle has a good day. That's fun. A-Chain has a nice touchdown, but they're a bad team. And it's good for Chargers to get back on track after sputtering the last 2 weeks. Patriots Saints. The Saints gave them a run. Man. I said they might. Spencer Rattler continues to play damn well. I mean, 20-26, it's nothing flashy, but he's playing serviceable football. Like, he by far is. 6 incompletions, 0 turnovers. He's not putting the ball in harm's way. Chris Olave had a great day. You love to see that. Kind of his first real Chris Olave day. 10 targets, 6 receptions, 98 yards. Alvin Kamara, although Alvin Kamara trade rumors are swirling recently, 10 carries for 31 yards, 5 receptions for 45 yards, though, but they're starting to give Kenry Miller the ball more, 8 carries, 21 yards. They're just kind of struggling to run the ball all around. But, the Patriots are dangerous. I got to say, Drake May's fun. Drake May is playing like a upper tier quarterback in this league. I don't know to what degree I'd say that. If it's maybe top 10, I think I'd put him maybe top 10 up there. He's their leading rusher in this game. They really struggle to run the football. 9 carries for 28 yards. Travion Henderson is 9 carries for 27 yards too. But Ramondre kind of does nothing. 13 carries, 18 yards. And Drake May just steps 3 passing touchdowns. Kayshon Boutte has a pretty elite day. 5 receptions, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. Has 2 big touchdown catches. Demario Douglas, 71 yards receiving. 1 touchdown. Stephon Diggs doesn't really show up. Only 3 targets, 3 receptions, 28 yards. But they found a way to win. And this was a tricky spot. The Saints team fights. And Drake May showed up. And they made stops when they needed to at the end. There was a few times when Rattler had the ball at the end. The fourth quarter of the score of the game is 25-19 the whole time. And Patriots couldn't really put them away. The Saints really couldn't really put them away. Juwan Johnson has a stupid fumble when they might be starting to drive. And Patriots punt. The Saints defense did everything they could in this game, and they couldn't really punch it through at the end. But it was a fun football game towards the end of it. And the Patriots, who knows, if the Falcons beat the Bills tonight, they're sitting at the top of that division, just like everyone thought. New England Patriots sitting at 4-2 after 6 games. Up next, Browns and Steelers. I was wrong about this. I tried to get fun and pick an upset with the Cleveland Browns, and God, it was bad. This is just a painful football team to watch. Dylan Gabriel throws the ball 52 times for 221 yards, 29 completions, sacked 6 times for 40 yards. They couldn't really run the football, which kind of forced them to drop Gabriel back 52 times, which I don't think was in anyone's game plan. They struggled to put the ball in the end zone. Harold Fannin had a big day, 7 receptions, 81 yards, but the Browns offense just as a whole is ugly. When there's no Judkins running into a line, you're dropping back Gabriel, throw it to Harold Fannin, David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, Isaiah Bond. It's not really the best situation. Against a really scrappy Pittsburgh Steelers defense, quite honestly. Now, Gabriel's not bad. I do have to say that. This isn't like a Dylan Gabriel's horrible thing. It's just the Browns as a whole are not good on offense at all. There's a sequence when I think he throws a great ball to Fannin on 2nd down, drops it. Throws a ball in the chest of Njoku on 3rd down, he drops it, and they have to punt. That was early in the game. They're just not a good team. The defense hangs around Garrett. Myles Garrett's pissed after the game, but you decided to stay there, dude. You knew what you were getting yourself into. It's not exactly the brightest future in the entire league. It's on the Steelers side, not the prettiest game, but it's a divisional win. And kind of in this division, that's just kind of what these games usually look like. Jalen Warren, 11 carries, 52 yards. Kenneth Gainwell, 6 for 22. Caleb Johnson with 6 carries. Maybe that has something to do with it being kind of the game over at the end, but good for the rookie to get his hands on the ball, only 15 yards, though. DK Metcalf, another big day. Good for him. Was wondering if they would start to build on that after that big day in London, and they did. 4 receptions, 95 yards, 1 touchdown. Darnell Washington had a big 3 reception, 62-yard game. Overall, Rodgers he's a quality game manager at this stage of his career. That's what I can say. He managed the game well. He had a vintage play where he escapes to the right and delivers for the touchdown in the end zone. I can't remember who caught that one. I believe that was Connor Hayward. Hits him in the back of the end zone. It was vintage Rodgers. Escapes, throws on the run. It was beautiful. But a game where the Steelers handle business, they're sitting at 4-1, kind of a weird team. Like doesn't really feel like the Steelers are 4-1, but they get it done. Props to them. Beat the Browns. Browns are, I don't know what to say about the Browns, but win for Pittsburgh. And yeah, we'll go on to the Panthers. Cowboys at Panthers. Panthers win 30-27. Just what a disaster for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have had every opportunity to be 3-2, 4-1, maybe even 4-2 if you don't tie a game. Arguably, you could be 5-1, but no, they have found every way to mess up every close game except bar that Giants game. The defense is an absolute disaster, and they aren't going to win any close games with the level of defense that they are putting out on the field right now. I mean, the offense is doing everything that you can ask of them. They didn't run the ball very well today, but put up 27 points. Dak is 25 of 34, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns. George Pickens is 9 for 170 and a touchdown. Jake Ferguson's adds on a touchdown. Javonte has his first real rough day on the ground, 13 carries for 29 yards, but these guys couldn't stop Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle is having an insane insanity run right now. Last week, he goes for 206 yards. This week in his revenge game, 30 carries, 183 yards. Like, what happened? Like, why would they ever hand Jabba Hubbard the ball again if this is how Rico Dowdle's playing? It's crazy. They cannot, and he has 4 receptions for 56 yards in the touchdown. He accounted for over 230 total scrimmage yards. That is absolutely wild stuff. And Bryce Young, 17 for 25, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But I mean, this is the Rico Dowdle game, and the Cowboys could not stop him. They were going blow for blow. They'd take the lead. Carolina would get it back. They take the lead in the fourth, 24-20. Carolina takes it back. Then they tie it up, and they force a 3-and-out. And the Cowboys get the ball with 8 minutes to go with a chance to go down, take the lead, put the pressure on the Panthers, and they don't. They end up having to punt. And the Panthers, give a shout out to them. They go on a 15-play, 71-yard, 6-minute game-clinching drive that ends in a chip shot field goal. You got to give them props. This is some momentum for the Carolina Panthers, a puzzling football team, but a team that is sitting at 3-3 now. I believe they're 3-3 at home. This team loves playing at home. At the Jets next week, looking to get their first road win. But just a gritty football game. Shout out to Dave Canales. This is a well-coached win. That last drive was poetic. They could not stop you. They could not stop the run game at all. And Bryce Young made the throws he needed to. I didn't think he killed them today. He had 1 interception, 3 for 3 touchdowns. Ted McMillan, the yard production wasn't quite there, but gets in the end zone twice. His first 2 touchdowns of his career, I believe. And they're just finding ways to win games right now. On the stat sheet, like not necessarily huge on the stat sheet. I mean, on the receiving side, obviously Darrell in the run game, but just timely football. Quite frankly, I want to check out the third down efficiency. They were 38%. I mean, the Cowboys are 42%, but they only got to 8. 3 for 8 on third down. Cowboys were 5 of 12. In the red zone, they were both 2 for 4. Just like timely football. They got the ball at the end and gave a chance to win the game, and they didn't give it back to Dallas. So you got to give them major props for that. And just a failure from Dallas. Just a failure. I mean, you don't have the best player on your team. Arguably one of the top 10 players in the entire league in CeeDee Lamb right now. And your offense is still being explosive. And your defense is just doesn't have the ability to make big stops. And I know I keep saying that every time they lose a game, but like it's hard not to mention Micah Parsons when the Cowboys defense really struggles. It's hard not to. Not at all. When they don't have a tough guy on the D-line to make big stops in the run game, make big stops in the pass game. It's just a glaring hole in the roster. And it's like, I know Jerry Jones says he wants to compete, but that's not a competing move. And this isn't a competing team right now at all. Matt Eberflus this is a horribly coached Cowboy defense. Absolutely horribly coached. They get an interception, but overall, they just got walked over on the ground. And the Panthers didn't need to do anything in the pass game. They did not need to do when you run the ball for 200 yards. The pass game comes at whatever, you'll take what you can get there. They'll run the ball with ease. And that's the easiest thing you can give someone. The most demoralizing thing in football is just getting the ball ran down your throat. And that's what happened to the Dallas Cowboys today. And that's why they lost the game. Embarrassing loss for them. Rams-Ravens. Rams win 17-3, but nowhere near the game that we expected. I thought this was going to be a Rams revenge game. They were going to come out hot after that Niners game, and they looked pretty ugly, to be honest. Stafford only throws for 180. I think it's probably his lowest on the year. Kyron Williams only runs the ball 50 yards. Tyler Higbee 4 for 40 on the receiving end. It's their leading receiver. Devontae Adams is targeted 9 times, caught the ball 4 times. Puka Nacua goes down with a foot injury. It looked a little serious, but he ends up coming back in the game. Who knows how he's going to be there, but I mean, they find a way to win the game, but they were letting the Ravens hang around for a long while. And the Ravens, I don't know what they're doing as a franchise right now. They finally find a way to establish the run game with Derrick Henry. Finally gets it going. 24 carries, 122 yards. But when they need him most on the goal line, that goal line sequence was horrible. Absolutely horrible. I believe they had 4 rushes inside the 1-yard line, and they don't punch it in. Stuffed on the tush push twice to Mark Andrews. 2 times. And then Derrick Henry loses 2 yards from the 1-yard line. Just, I don't even know how you explain that. That's just, the line is playing bad. The team as a whole is playing bad. I don't know why Cooper Rush is quarterback in this football team. Tyler Huntley comes in and actually gives them a spark a little bit. And it's like, oh shit, are they going to make this a 1-possession game? And they end up getting stopped in the red zone. But I mean, they're just a 1-5 right now. Like, I don't know how you recover from this. Like, genuinely, I don't know how. Like, Ravens fans some of them are optimistic, some of them are like, but I don't know how you've lost 5 games in this league. This isn't a league where you can lose 5 games so you're out of your first 6 and you find a way to rebound. Because even with Lamar, this was a flawed football team. They were. And the offense was putting up points, but it wasn't pretty. And the defense is still going to be bad. Like, this is bad. If you lose a game or two and Lamar comes back, I saw people say maybe shut it down. And that's not even a crazy thing to say. Tell Lamar to stay healthy and tank for a good draft pick, because this Ravens team is not going anywhere to make a run. A team that was one of the most favored teams to win the Super Bowl going into the offseason. They are nowhere near that. They don't have an alpha receiver. I mean, Zay Flowers, 6 receptions, 46 yards. I understand there's no quarterback there, but they don't have an alpha. Like, I don't think he's a number 1 receiver on a championship team. And I just haven't seen, like, it's just not there. And I think Tyler Huntley has to start next game if it's not Lamar. I believe they do have the bye. Yeah, it's the bye and then the Bears. So they're hoping Lamar can be back, but Lamar's coming back in its win now moment. So just disaster. I mean, on the Rams side of things, a win's a win, but what an ugly one. I mean, they were a few plays away from losing this game. If the Ravens punched in on the 1-yard line when they're there, and then the Rams convert like a huge 4th and 5 that ends up in a scoring drive, this game's a whole lot different. And who knows with Puka Nacua, you got to hope he's going to stay healthy. But kind of a weird game for the Rams in the weird last few weeks. This is a game that they should not have been in danger of losing, and I think that they were, and they looked really, really bad while doing it. But a win's a win, tied with the Seahawks at the top of the division. And yeah, on the next week for them, let's see who they have in the next week. They have the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Jaguars are on an NFC West tour. They go Niners, Seahawks, and they go Niners, Chiefs, Seahawks, Rams. It's a kind of a good litmus test. I mean, the Jaguars beat the Niners in San Francisco. Seahawks beat the Jags in Jacksonville. Who knows what happens next? But a win's a win for the Rams, and that's all I got there. Titans at the Raiders. This was a game that I just did not really care much for watching, but there's only 3 games on, so I was paying attention to it, and it was ugly football once again. I gotta say, Geno Smith versus Cam Ward, up there for one of the worst quarterback matchups of the season based on pure play. Ashton Genty, some momentum there, 23 carries, 73 yards, 1 touchdown. Trey Tucker, 5 for 70. Michael Mayer, 5 for 50. They were using Michael Mayer like I thought that they should be using Brock Bowers when Brock Bowers is healthy. He was more involved in the game plan than Brock is. Cam Ward is also, I understand that the situation around him isn't great, but he is just making weird mistakes and not throwing good footballs kind of all around. Like, there will be drives where it's just like, what is going on here? This isn't competent quarterback play. And I understand the people around him aren't great, and the offensive system probably isn't great, but it's just like, there's not like a whole lot of like promise. I mean, he sacked 6 times for 62 yards. Like, I understand that. But it's just kind of a dumpster fire of a situation that I think is making him look a lot worse than he really is. Because I do think does have some promise. Tony Pollard runs the ball 10 times for 34 yards. Van Jefferson has 75 yards receiving. This was a game I thought the Titans could win. I was wrong about that. I just based on pure Raiders being bad. But I mean, they had plenty of chances. The the Titans came out and punted 3 of their first 4 drives, and the 4th one was a fumble, and the 5th one was a punt, and the 6th one was an interception. Until they finally get on the board in their first drive of the 3rd quarter with a field goal, and they're down 17 at that point. It's just painful to watch. Like, sometimes with a team that's bad, it's like fun. First overall pick. If I was a Titans fan, this is like the least. Like, I would be miserable watching football games on Sunday. It's like the least fun a team with the number 1 overall pick playing at quarterback can be. It's an absolute slog. I think who's going to be the first coach fired? That's my question. Like, Brian Callahan, Mike McDaniel, Aaron Glenn. I think Aaron Glenn's leash is a little longer, but it's getting shorter, drastically shorter by the week with these performances that his team's putting out there. I honestly, I don't really have much more to say about this game. I mean, Gino throws another pick. He's only 17 for 23, a little bit of efficiency, but I mean, only 174 yards passing. An ugly offensive display all around. Genti got in the end zone. That's a positive, but that's it there. Bengals at Packers. Bengals 18, Packers 27. Joe Flacco was a little better than Jake Browning. I'd say he was better. The Bengals offense was better. They put up 18 points against a good Packers defense. Jamar Chase finally shows up to the party. And this is the exact stat why you brought in Joe Flacco. Jamar Chase, 10 receptions, 94 yards, 1 touchdown, 12 targets. T. Higgins, 8 targets, 62 yards, 5 receptions. Throw the ball to your 2 best receivers. I mean, you're paying them damn near, what, is it 10, 15% of the salary cap, just them 2? Not including Burrow. Give them the ball. They're like, it's just a disgrace. Even if it's a bad team out there, like, it's a disgrace to have these guys running cardio out on the edges. And they kept this game decently close for at times. I mean, they intercept Love on the first drive. They had chances. The offense didn't turn it on until the second half. They would go on a beautiful 17-play, 78-yard touchdown drive to start the second half. But it could have been a little closer. Missed a field goal for halftime. It was a long one, but still. They had chances, and then the Packers score. The Bengals make it a 1-score game, and then they never really got it within. They got there for 1 second. They didn't get the ball back with a chance to tie it up or win it at all at any point. But I mean, I guess Flacco showed. I guess he can hang around a little bit. I think the true big test will be this Thursday. They got the Pittsburgh Steelers at home, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are sitting at 4-1. We talked about the Ravens are at 1-5. The Bengals are at 2-4. If you can beat the Steelers, get to 3-4, show that you can win some games. You got the Jets coming up after that, and the Steelers, and you got the Steelers 2 times in a 4-week stretch. If you guys want to show you can really hang around and maybe get there until Burrow comes back at the end of the season, you're going to have to show it now. Flacco's going to have to win this game against the Steelers, a team he knows how to beat. The Steelers aren't going to want to see Flacco in a big game. That might be a little bit of a fun, sneaky, ugly game. Joe Flacco versus Aaron Rodgers, the unction. But on the Packers side, I mean, just not impressive again. This is a team that has not looked very impressive in the recent weeks. The loss to the Browns, the tie against the Cowboys, the win against the Bengals. It's not the dominant team that we kind of were expecting, especially after those first 2 weeks, the win over the Lions, the win over the Commanders. And I don't really understand why. I mean, they ran the ball well again. Jordan Love turned the ball over with an interception on that first drive. But I mean, on the stat sheet, Golden had a decent game, 3 receptions, 86 yards. Jacobs, 5 receptions, 57 yards. So he had a monster day, like 140 total yards from scrimmage. Dobbs, 5 for 55. He's kind of that reliable target for Jordan Love. I've started to notice 9 targets. Tucker Kraft with 2 for 43. It's a win for the Packers, but it's not a win that's going to move me. Not something that's really changing how I feel. We've got the Cardinals and Steelers coming in the next 2 weeks. I want to see a dominant display from this Packers team because I know it's in there. I want to see them put both sides of the football together. And I want to see that defense kind of be dominant again. And that offense find some explosives because I haven't really been moved by the Green Bay Packers. The last game in the afternoon window, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got to start with the Fred Warner news. Really unfortunate. He's one of the best players in the NFL. And the Niners are a team just caught so poorly by the injury bug. But you never want to see that. And losing him for the year. The foot was sideways. It was an ugly scene. You got to feel for him. But on the overall sense, Baker Mayfield, that's every Bucs game. I feel like I say it, but this guy just does it time and time again. And was this his MVP moment? Arguably early in the season. I mean, this guy goes down to Mecca Egbuka, their first round pick, who's become like the rookie of the year front runner. He's the second half starts and it's like he's doubtful to return with a hamstring injury, which came out of nowhere because he was in on the last drive before halftime. And at this point, the Bucs are only up one because the Niners go down and get three at the start of the drive, and that's when the news comes out on the Bucs' first drive of the half. And Baker Mayfield just rings the bell every time he rings the bell. On that drive, it's Tez Johnson for a 45-yard touchdown pass down the middle of the field, an absolute dime. Tez Johnson, an outstanding catch, fingertip grab. It was just amazing. And then the defense forces a punt. McLaughlin mixes a field goal, so they're still in it, but an absolute great play by Jamel Dean later on that interception. I do have to say, they baited Mac Jones. There was an out route that was open. It was a cover two concept. And there's an out route underneath it in the corner behind it. And Dean baits him down, flies up, and he reads Mac Jones like a book, intercepts the ball perfectly on 4th and 4. That pretty much seals the game. The Bucs go down and get 3. But just Baker Mayfield, dude, he's down to these 5th and 6th receivers from the beginning of the season. Tez Johnson and Cameron Johnson. Sterling Shepard goes 2 for 51. K. Dotton has 5 for 51. Cameron Johnson 4 for 64. Tez Johnson 1 for 45, 1 catch. I mean, it's just like, who else is doing this with this little like talent out at receiver? It's absolutely amazing, and you got to give props to the Tampa Bay scouting department, Tampa Bay GM. But with that little out there and what he's doing for a 5-1 football team, there's no reason he's not the MVP frontrunner. And I mean, he's got the Detroit Lions next Monday night at Detroit. Talk about a chance to make a statement on national TV. That is for Baker Mayfield. But every week I watch him, I am just in awe at what I'm seeing, to be honest. On to Sunday Night Football. I got to say, the one thing I got to say about this, Vegas knows. Everyone all week, why are the Chiefs favored in this game? Why are they favored in this game? The Lions are a much better football team. They're at home, whatever. And the Chiefs showed why. I think I said the Chiefs were going to win this game. But I don't know if I did or not. I'll have to go back and check that. But the Chiefs are a sleeping giant, quite honestly. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear it. But if there's one team I had to buy stock in right now, it'd be the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is playing at an outstanding level. 22 of 30, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. They started to get a little bit of the run game going tonight. Like, it wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it was serviceable. It helped them move drives. Isaiah Pacheco, 12 carries, 51 yards. Kareem Hunt, 6 for 23. Like, big short down conversions. Travis Kelce, 6 for 78. Juju Smith-Schuster checks in for 50 yards. Hollywood Brown, 2 touchdowns, 45 yards. They didn't even need Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy only 2 receptions, gets in for that first touchdown, 2 receptions, 20 yards. It was just a well-oiled machine on offense. It was an Andy Reid classic offense. And you're telling me this is a team that's getting Rashee Rice back? It's only going to get better. That guy's a true number 1 receiver. He's a guy that can occupy the defense, and then Xavier Worthy can take the top off. And besides those 2 guys, you'll have Travis Kelce being the real third option on offense, which a third option, Travis Kelce on offense, is a dangerous offense. And that opens up the run game a little bit. So you have to worry more about the pass game. This team's a sleeping giant, quite frankly. And on the Lions side, I mean, I don't know what it was tonight. Montgomery only gets 4 carries, 24 yards. Gibbs 17 for 65, doesn't get in the end zone. Jameson Williams gets in the end zone. Amon-Ra 9 for 45. The real deep downfield production wasn't there. It was a weird game to watch. I mean, I can't say I was fully focused. I was watching the Mariners game. We'll have to talk about the Mariners later a little bit, but I mean, this is the Kansas City Chiefs win. This is the classic Kansas City Chiefs win. Chiefs at home following a loss. It's hard not to think the Chiefs are going to win that game. I got to touch on Brian Branch. That's scumbag stuff right there. The game is over. You guys lost by 2 scores. Mahomes tries to dap you up, whatever. You're mad. Who cares? You go up and smack Juju. Like, I think he should be suspended at least a game. You can't do that. You can't. If he gets off with only a fine, that is a disservice to the league. You can't go up and punch someone after the game. That's Trent Williams, Richard Sherman, 2012 stuff right there, if you know what I'm talking about. it was just a weird scenario. Like, what are you doing, dude? Go in the locker. If you're so pissed off, don't dap anyone. Just go to the locker room. Like, you're really gonna be just such a sore loser and punch someone after the game after you just got your chain snatched on Sunday Night Football. Embarrassing stuff, but I mean, I don't really have much to say about it. I was expecting a better game, to be honest. The Chiefs came out and showed up and got a big win at home when they needed to get it. They're sitting at 3-3 now. Got the Raiders next week. When it comes to the division standings, I want to check these out for a second because what's this division looking like? It's a weird division. Honestly, you got the Chargers at 4-2, the Broncos at 4-2, and the Kansas City Chiefs at 3-3. Chiefs are a 1-1 in the division, only having that one game against the Chargers. The Chargers are sitting at 3-0 in the division, I think, which is a huge, huge thing for them at this point in the season. Everyone else only at 0-1. So, I mean, the Chiefs are going to have to win their divisional games if they want a chance to win this. I think they are a better team than both these teams, especially they're going to be getting better, getting Rashee Rice. That's huge. It's not even, he's not even a guy you're going to have to ease in. He's should be healthy. He was going to play at the beginning of the season. He is coming off the injury, but he was going to be ready to play. And then that suspension was pushed on him. So the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. I mean, as much as people don't want them to be, they are. So yeah, it was a great Sunday. It was a fun Sunday. I got to say, I'm really excited for Monday night. I am really excited for Monday night. I think these two games have a very good reason to be both close games. The Bills go into Atlanta. I think that could be a really fun shootout type game. I think it should be. I think the Falcons have a shot to stay in the game with their offense. Their offense is going to have to play to the best of their abilities. They're coming off a bye, so you got to think there's a lot of stuff up their sleeve. They're going to be at full strength. They're going to know what they want to do. Their game plan going into this game. It's a huge game for Buffalo. If you lose this game to your Buffalo, all of a sudden, like, you're tied for the beginning of your division. I know I already talked about both these games, but just touching on them again. Bears Commanders, I'm excited for. The Bears coming off their bye too. And going into a big spot in Washington, put the Bears in. If the Bears can win 3 games in a row here in DC on national TV, a big game for them to show that they're players and that they're around. They're in this divisional hunt. So 2 big proving games for these 2 teams that I really enjoy watching these teams. Commanders should be fun. The battle of both the rookies from last year's class, Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams, round 2. On the Bills side, can they bounce back? I think they're going to bounce back to some vengeance after that Patriots game. I think that offense is going to be humming, so that's why I think the Falcons are going to have to hang around with some explosiveness on offense there. And I'm excited. I'm excited for Monday night. And let's go to the college side now. Let's start with the shocker of the week. The Indiana Hoosiers are a top 3 team in the country. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And they're legit. I don't think there's anything fraudulent about them. There is nothing fraudulent about going into Eugene, Oregon, and as 7-point underdogs, a spot where Ohio State lost last year, going into Eugene and beating the Oregon Ducks. That is fully legit. That is a legit win for the Indiana Hoosiers and Curt Cignetti. And they look like the better team. I felt like they dominated them in the trenches on either side. This wasn't the Oregon run game that they want to have if for usual Oregon team. I mean, they ran about 30 times for 81 yards. That includes Dante Moore 9 rushes for negative 27 yards. But you take that out, 21 times for like 100 yards. Like, it wasn't amazing. No Whittington 5 for 27. Jordan Davis 8 for 59. Jalen Lamar 3 for 17. And on the Indiana side, 19 carries, 70 yards for Roman Hemby. Fernando Mendoza 6 for 31. Kalen Black 7 for 31. Elijah Surratt. I got to give a shout out to Elijah Surratt. He was the X factor in this game. He had multiple big 50-50 ball catches that were the difference in a game like this going into Oregon. And this game was in their control, quite frankly. I mean, early in a game like this with the 2 highly ranked teams, a team that's an underdog on the road, when Indiana goes up 3-0 and they're kind of hanging around in the first half, they go up 10-7. And it's like, okay, they're hanging around, like, kind of just waiting for that Oregon spurt, unfortunately. And Oregon misses a field goal at the end of the first half. And this was the key sequence that I was like, damn, these guys are here. These guys are here, like, actually legit. This is a game that they could win. Was before the half. When Oregon misses that 36-yard field goal, he pulls it left, and I'm like, that's poor. That's a classic Oregon kicker missing the kick. And Indiana goes down the field, 3 plays, 40 yards, 20 seconds. Aided by that 15-yard pass interference, and their kicker makes a 58-yarder, and they go into the half up 3 on the Ducks, and it's like, oh my gosh! And the Ducks in the second half had, I believe, at one point 46 yards of offense, and that was late in the fourth quarter. I don't know what the final number was, They didn't come out in the second half hot. They didn't come out pissed off. Indiana came out and controlled these guys. And quite frankly, it shouldn't have even been as close as it was because they threw a pick six. They were up 7 points and had the ball. And Fernando Mendoza throws a pick six to make the game tied. And I'm like, oh my God, you can't make that mistake on the road. That's a mistake that the Ducks should make him pay for. And nope. Fernando Mendoza comes back and leads a 12-play, 75-yard touchdown drive through the hearts of the Ducks. 6-minute drive in the fourth quarter to go up 7 points with 6 minutes to go. And Dante Moore throws a pick. 2 picks in the fourth quarter. One wasn't necessarily his fault. One was tipped. And the Indiana Hoosiers are 6-0. And this is a shocking loss to the Oregon Ducks. And the Oregon Ducks team that Penn State loss doesn't look as good as it once did. Not at all. It's an unranked Penn State team. We'll talk about Penn State in a second. It's absolutely shocking. You got to give a shout to Fernando Mendoza. I thought he played a great game. This guy is a legit, maybe first-round quarterback, quite honestly. Maybe a first-round quarterback. And who would have thought? Dante Moore didn't think he played his greatest when the lights were the brightest. Where did he grade out? He graded as the second lowest in the Oregon offense. 47 overall on PFF. I'm looking at this Oregon Ducks team a whole lot differently than I was a few weeks ago after that Penn State loss. We'll talk about Penn State now. Penn State win. We'll talk about Penn State. James Franklin's gone. I got to say I'm surprised. I believe it was a $50 million buyout. I understand that this is a historically bad 3-game stretch, and I think a lot of people were calling for him to be fired, but I don't know how green grass is on the other side. I think his time was done, quite honestly. I don't think that it was the wrong call, but I am shocked with that buyout. And what I've seen a lot of discourse online. Who's going to be the coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions? I'm not sure. If Kurt Cignetti declines this offer, I saw it's Matt Rule's job to lose. Is going to Matt Rule really the call here? Has Matt Rule shown that he can be an elite college football program head coach? I don't know. He turns around Temple. What he's doing in Nebraska is it's all right, but Penn State is a different animal. Penn State doesn't accept losing to UCLA and Northwestern. Unacceptable loss. They lose Drew Aller to the season. You got to feel for Drew Aller. He comes back for his senior year and expects to be one of the best teams in the country, and the team's just not there. Quite honestly, it's not there. And James Franklin, all of a sudden, think about 3 weeks ago when they're storming back in that fourth quarter against Oregon, and they storm back to win that, to force that game to overtime. Imagine they win that game. The amount of ripple effect that has changed in 3 weeks is absolutely insane. It's changed the college football landscape as a nation, quite frankly. It's absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. I wonder where they'll go from here. You've already seen the effect in the recruits decommitting. It's just an absolute disaster if you're a Penn State fan. An absolute disaster. Next, we'll go to I want to give a shout out to the Washington State Cougars. They fought with Ole Miss, man. Ole Miss, the number 4 team in the country, in Mississippi, in Oxford. And they arguably should have won this game. It was kind of the Cougs ran the ball like the best they have all year at 28 times, 127 yards. They didn't turn the ball over. They arguably should have won. Ole Miss didn't look like the number 4 team in the country, and they dropped down only one spot, losing to a team that is sitting at 3-3 now. Has a loss to North Texas, has a loss to UW. I don't really know what to feel about Ole Miss. I don't know what this tells me about either team, but you got to give a shout out to the Cougs. That's a fun game to watch. And then imagine that win. That would have been crazy. But just the fact that they were really in that game and genuinely had a chance to win. It wasn't a bunch of gimmicky stuff. They had that one kind of somewhat trick play in the first half that leads to a score, but they were running the football well, against an SEC football team. What does that say about the SEC? Quite frankly. And Ole Miss, on that note, I'll talk about LSU for a little bit. Ole Miss's one win is LSU, and I don't think LSU is a very great football team, honestly. Their one really big convincing win is the Clemson Tigers. And the Clemson Tigers are an unranked football team right now. And Garrett Nussmeier, who we all thought Heisman contender, Heisman favorite, has been bad. Him and Brian Kelly are yelling at each other on the sideline. Brian Kelly's mad at him. He's throwing stupid interceptions in the red zone. That's not what a championship football team does. That's not what a number 10 team in the country does. The SEC I'm pretty low on the SEC at this point. there's not. I don't know what team in there I'm really looking at like this is a real contender. Honestly, in the whole national landscape. And let's go to another one right now. Let's go to the Red River Shootout. Oklahoma, who was the number 6th ranked team in the country, drops down to 14. An embarrassing loss. An embarrassing loss to Texas. Texas was favored in this game by a point, but John Mateer played. John Mateer's thumb didn't hurt him. John Mateer's thumb didn't make the decision to throw 3 interceptions in this game. To go 20 for 38. To rush the ball 14 times for 5 yards. It was, I mean, a lot of people are saying Oklahoma was frauds. I kind of believed them. I thought they were fun. I thought the Mateer Arbuckle thing was fun. But this is wildly disappointing in your biggest game of the entire year. Why, like, just so, I don't know how you come back from this. I mean, that's a bit of a dramatic statement, but you got South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU to finish the season. That's 6 games that 4 of those teams are ranked in the top 16. I mean, realistically, you can only lose one of them if you want to make the playoff, in my opinion. I don't see them doing that. I don't think this is a playoff team. The Mateer stuff is really disappointing. I mean, grades out of a 37, lowest grade on the whole offense. I don't even it doesn't even change how I feel about Arch. Like, it's not like Arch lit the world on fire. I mean, he did his job at 21 to 27, 166 yards. He grades out well at an 86, but it's not like I was like, oh my gosh, Arch Manning, it was the difference. He won them this game. Ran the ball 4 times for 34 yards. The defense played really well. The defense had Mateer in the box. Sark got his guys up for a big game, but I mean, on the Texas side, they're ranked number 21 now. If they win out, are they in the playoff? I'd say maybe. They still got Vandy, Georgia. Finish it with Texas A&M. Maybe that Texas A&M game's a winning get-in game for them. The SEC is fun. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are good. I don't see any great teams there, quite frankly. I mean, we'll talk about Texas A&M for a little bit. I don't see Texas A&M as the number 5 team in the country. Number 4 now after last week. Florida hung around there. They did. Another game I want to talk about, Alabama, Missouri. Disappointing. This was a game that Missouri absolutely should have won. And I do have to give it a shout out to Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson is an absolute gamer. Ty Simpson's a guy I was not very high on week 1 when they lost. I wasn't very high on coming into this season. This dude's an absolute gamer. This guy shows up he shows up. On big plays, he shows up. There was a huge 4th down and 4, and he throws a dart of a corner route. I can't remember who he completed it to. It's like, Ryan Williams didn't have a reception in this game. It doesn't matter. Like, they found a way to win on the road in Missouri. And that's a tough win. The Alabama team's good. And their schedule's a gauntlet, but you get through this next game, and I think you're in a really good spot. Tennessee at home. It's going to be rocking there. And I think you can be better than LSU. I think you're better than Oklahoma. Realistically, I think if they win this Tennessee game, they should be in the playoff. As long as you got to keep playing good games week to week. But they got one more week of that 4-week gauntlet of a stretch that I talked about 3 weeks ago. And they've shown up to task each week. But Bo Prabula lost this game for Missouri. They had every chance to win the game. I mean, 2 interceptions, the one on the last drive. They get a stop. The defense gets a stop. And they're down 3, and they need Bo to lead them down to tie the game or take the lead. And he didn't look up to the task the whole drive. 2 incompletions early in the drive. Converts on 3rd down to Lube. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. To Donovan, number 1, the freshman. He's a stud. And every pass attempt, it was like he didn't know where he was going. In the interception, he's rushed. He's trying to throw a verticals concept. He has both guys open. He has the first guy open earlier, and he has the middle guy he tried to throw to a little later. He tried to rush it, and he also has the guy on the outside open on a little stop route. He doesn't look there. He's pissed on the outside. This is the game Missouri should have won at home. And if they win this game, they're in a really good spot to make the playoff. And now you got to win some close games. I don't know. Bo Prabula had showed up early in the season, but that was against Central Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, South Carolina, who's all right. And his first real test in a big moment, and he doesn't show up to the task. And that's disappointing. I expected more. They didn't get the run game going. I was wrong about that. I thought they'd be able to run all over the Crimson Tide, and they couldn't. Ahmad Hardy, 12 for 52. Jamal Roberts was 5 for 50. I mean, in totality, yeah, 28 for 163, but it wasn't the dominant Missouri running game that I really thought. And they got off to a great start. They went up 7-0, and after that, they didn't do anything before the end of the half. I mean, three drives of punts. They really struggled to gain any momentum, and they fought back into the game. I'll give them that. They force Alabama fumbles on the first play of the second half. They tie the game up like that. They're kind of going back and forth, but the 2 Prabula interceptions in the fourth quarter were absolutely killer. Absolutely killer, because they had a chance at the beginning of that fourth quarter. to go out and tie the game or take the lead. And he throws the interception. They get lucky with a missed field goal, but they turn the ball over on downs. Like that fake punt that they called, that Drink called, was that Elijah Drinkwitz called, was puzzling. It was 4th and 4, and it was in their own territory. And they decided to go to a fake punt to the backup running back. Not a horrible thing to do, but it's to the weak side of the field. I think in that scenario, leave your offense on the field. Don't get gimmicky, because then they turned the ball over there, and Alabama went up 10. And at that point, they were trying to claw him back. They end up getting the shot in the end of the game. Pabula messes it up, but stuff happens. It's just a disappointing loss, I think, for Missouri. What else? We got USC, big win over Michigan. The Huskies go to Michigan next week, and USC just showed you can put points on these guys. So I think that's a huge thing of note. Not going to be a ranked game anymore, but Huskies go to Michigan at 9 a.m. next week. Let's talk about the Huskies. Let's talk about Damon Williams. Damon Williams and the Washington Huskies should be ranked. It's an absolute travesty that they're not. Any other big team in the Big Ten or the SEC, if they had one loss, the number one team in the country, that is a ranked football team. Like, I genuinely doesn't make any sense. They're 2-1 in the Big Ten, 1 win on the road. Maryland's a solid team. They beat Rutgers at home. They beat Washington State, who just hung around with Ole Miss. A 5-1 Big Ten team with a 1 loss to Ohio State, where they hung around in the game, is unranked. It's BS, quite frankly. But Damon Williams, coming out party. I mean, I don't know how many people were watching this game. I was watching on my phone during the Mariners game. 402 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 136 yards rushing, 13 carries, 2 touchdowns. Like, this was his coming out party. And I think people around the nation are starting to wake up. Desmond Roebuck's a stud, 4 for 108. Denzel Boston's an absolute stud. That first touchdown pass catch he had was so impressive. I don't know if people realize how impressive of a touchdown catch that is. The ability to have the strong hands that he had there and hold on to the ball coming down to the ground, and it doesn't move an inch, is so impressive. Like, this offense is a force to be reckoned with. And they did start a little slow. And you got to applaud Jed Fish. I mean, you don't want to start slow, and you do not want to start slow in the Big House next week. But you go down 7-0, and you miss a field goal on your next drive. You're down 10, and you punt. You're down 10 again. And the start of the second quarter, you're down 10 points to Rutgers at home. It's like, this could get disastrous. And they didn't waver after that. They did not waver. Touchdown drive. Damon fumbles on the 1. Was a stupid fumble, but I mean, he's making an amazing play, and it's fluky fumble on the 1 yard line. Field goal, touchdown, end of game. Second half drives, touchdown. You can't ask for anything more. That's explosiveness. And they have an extra performer from Michigan who's they're not coming off a bye week. The one team that's not coming off a bye week. It's going to be fun. If you win that Michigan game, I think people really start to wake up. Then you host Illinois at home, who's no longer ranked. Like, there's a real shot for you and Oregon to go into that game in the last week of the season, both with 1 loss. And I think that'd be really, really fun for the sport. Overall, I think that's about it. I'm going to talk about the Mariners a little bit. If you don't want to listen to this Mariners talk, you can turn it off. But I mean, the Mariners are so fun. I love the Mariners. I'd say probably my second favorite team growing up was the Seahawks, and then the Mariners. I knew every player on the Mariners, and as a kid, you don't really realize how bad a baseball team is. Like, that was the thing. It was like, I want to go to a Mariners game. Like, I love going to the Mariners games. But these games have been just some of the more fun things I've ever watched. That game on Friday night, the Tigers game, was one of the more, like, I think maybe the most stress I've ever been in my entire life. It means 15 innings, and they just keep showing up. I mean, it's just they bounce back in the ways that they lose games they're supposed to win. They win games they're supposed to lose. You beat Scooball 4 times in a season. You blow the lead in game 4, and it's like, oh my God, you have to play Scooball in game 5. And to go down 2-1, Kerry Carpenter hits that bomb, and it's like, dude, like, what? They're really going to go out like this. And I was at the 18-inning game a few years ago, and it was just so much deja vu from that. Just the pitchers doing everything. Edward Bazardo was the absolute MVP of that game. I thought 2 2/3 innings. He was outstanding. Like, the stuff that the pitching showed in that game was just special. You can't replicate that. Matt Brash gives you 2 innings. Munoz gives you an inning and a third. Gilbert gives you 2. Bazardo gives you 2 2/3. Castillo gives you 1 1/3. George Kirby, 5 innings pitched. It's just special stuff. And Jorge Polanco's like the most clutch hitter in the entire league. Like, literally no one I'd rather want at the dish than Jorge Polanco. And then today, I mean, I was talking about today for a little before we ended the show. Like, this is a game that the nation was expecting the Mariners to lose. They're plus 150 on the road. The Blue Jays are pitching their ace, Kevin Gausman. You got Bryce Miller on the bump, your fourth best starter, who realistically, going into the postseason before Wu got hurt, you're not expecting him to have to pitch to start a game. Out of the pen, yes, you're not expecting him to start a game. And he comes out and shoves. He gets up a home run on the first pitch of the game. 27 pitches in the first. She's like, this could get ugly. And Cal goes out and calms him down. And from that point on, the Blue Jays didn't have a pulse. They didn't have a single pulse. Bryce Miller, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, 3 Ks, 3 walks. And the Mariners, this was an offense that was struggling a little bit against Gausman. And I was watching my buddies, and I was like, this is a big they need a solo shot more than anything, because they obviously were not in a situation where they can string together a few hits. And they got that solo shot by the big number, the MVP of the league. And that just kind of ignited 2 straight. Julio gets on base with 2 outs. Jorge gets the second. Jorge Polanco brings him in, like, just amazing. And then in the 8th, the extra insurance run was huge. Gabe Spire, a big 1-2-3 inning, is exactly what they needed for his confidence. They're going to need him in this series and further on if they make it there. Matt Brash shuts it down, easy 9-pitch inning. Munoz shuts it down, doesn't even give the Blue Jays an ounce of momentum, an ounce of hope in the end of that game. And that's so big. And now you're in a spot where, I mean, you need to get one of these 2 wins in Toronto to feel good. And you got Gilbert going tomorrow on short rest. If you win tomorrow, like, the Blue Jays are in real trouble. But even if you don't, you got 3 games at home in Seattle. Realistically, like, if you want to win out of those 3 games, if you can go up 3-2, going back to Toronto, need to win 1, that's ideal. And let's get greedy and win tomorrow. That's how I feel. You need your stars to keep showing up. I mean, Cal shows up, Julio shows up on base 3 times, 1 hit, 2 walks. You got to love that. I want playoff Randy to show up, man. I mean, I'm just waiting for it to show up. They flashed that graphic. It's like one of the highest OPSs, and it's kind of all from that 1 run with the Rays. I want playoff Randy to show up. It was good to see Gino tack on there. One of the longest doubles. It was a home run in 15 parks, 395 feet. Naylor had a rough day today, but a few tough matchups. They bring in the lefty, throwing sidearm at him. That's a tough spot for lefty all the time. But this team just fights, and you got to love it. It's kind of America's team. Everyone's rooting for the Mariners, and it's so fun to watch right now. But on that note, gonna wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed the show. A bit of a longer one. I really enjoyed the show today. If you enjoyed it, give it a download, share it with a friend. Go Mariners, go Seahawks, go Huskies. I'll see you guys on Thursday.